Hello, my name is Linda Maguire. I'm a professional musician, a neuroscientist, and a gerontologist. And I'm here today to talk to you about the power of music to help you experience a good life, to change your mood, change your behavior, change your quality of life, and your health. So this is the type of work I've been doing for a very long time. I have a master's degree in neuroscience from the George Mason University here in Fairfax, Virginia. And then I then went to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, and where I have a master's in health science and gerontology. So I know all about the aging brain, brain health, and how music it has the power to change the way we think and some of the decisions we make as far as movement and behavior. So that's good news. The brain itself has no feeling. It experiences everything through the body. So music, I describe it as sustained, organized resonance. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. La, 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 la. So the air, the molecules in the air are vibrating, and they're vibrating consistently. It's much different from speaking that's all kind of chopped up and cracked up. And if you look at the brain, when it activates, when you are speaking, just a tiny little part of the brain activates when the lips are moving. And then when you're actually making sense and putting sentences together, there's another small area, and then they're connected. A very little part of the brain, basically two spots and a highway, is activated when we speak. Now when we sing, it's a whole different story. All parts of the brain, both sides, front, back, areas of emotion, of memory, of motorization, and that's the power music has to resurrect memories in Alzheimer's and dementia patients, which is my main area of interest, using music to help others. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. All areas of the brain, very global activation of the brain, enhanced oxygenation, plus stimulation from the actual sustained sound is literally vibrating tissues and bones and nerves in the face. And I can feel it, the resonance from singing in the back of my neck. And so there are areas of brain tissue that can be targeted. Enhanced oxygenation. So when we look at music and how its power in changing particularly Alzheimer's patients, we all know the stories. We have friends and loved ones, or friends of friends, or relatives of friends who have Alzheimer's and dementia. There's a lot of it out there. The statistics are staggering, and there's something like 150 million, in the next 50 years that are going to be affected by it. And we have ways of prolonging life, so it's a condition that is a very long, slow progression, pretty much guaranteed. One of the few things that resurrects a sense of self in Alzheimer's and dementia patients is the use of music. So that's what I look at as a neuroscientist and as a professional musician. I look at it from both angles and try to demystify and formulate that. So that's what I'm here to talk about today. So let's get started on that. One of the main scientific findings in dementia is the use of rhythm to alter heart rate. So if, for instance, my heart rate, you can actually measure it. Bump, 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 bump. I'm activated, I'm middle-age-ish, and so if I want to relax that, I'm going to, I have had that heart rate before I was born. And so I have a very strong relationship. My body has a very strong relationship with that heart rate. So when music enters into the picture with a rhythm, a decisive rhythm, it in a way talks to that heart rate. And so the heart rate, when music comes on, we all know the experience, most of us, that a certain piece of music comes on and our mood changes immediately. That's in main part because of the rhythm that the song has, that our body responds to because it talks to our heart rate. So let's go back a little bit. So I'm bump bump, bump bump, bump bump, bump bump. So if I want to relax and I want to use Beethoven's Ode to Joy to do that, we all know that one. Bum 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 ba la 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 lum. Already I feel more relaxed. And eventually my heart rate will match that tempo. So that's the main core. It's like the flour for the cake. You really can't make cake without flour. And you really can't prescribe music without a sense of rhythm. So for instance, I work with Alzheimer's patients, and I bring vocal music into them. One of their favorite songs is Chattanooga Choo Choo, right? And you have patients who don't speak, who can't speak. But when you start that song, there's something about that song that when they learned it in the past, that they have internalized that song. Many songs are like that. The Amazing Grace we sang is like that. Patriotic songs are very much like that. Start singing the national anthem and those Alzheimer's patients will stop what they're doing and they'll sing that national anthem. There's a lot of sensory, there's patriotism, there's pride, there's great memories associated with that song. There's a posture that's associated with that, singing that. And so when they hear the national anthem, all these sensory and motor memories are resurrected, including the verbal ones. So if they're nonverbal, that song and the organized resonance of it, the organized musculature of that, the memories that are buried deep, deep, deep are resurrected with that, and it all comes together because it's using all parts of the brain. I'd like to talk about Parkinson's a little bit since we're on the Chattanooga Choo Choo. The Chattanooga Choo Choo is another one of those. But again, if you're working with young children and you're teaching them Chattanooga Choo Choo, their heart rate would be bump bump, bump bump, bump bump, bump bump, bump bump, maybe faster, very highly energized. So you teach them, pardon me boys, is that the Chattanooga ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, I'm 29. Boy, can you give me a shine? I can afford. They'll be hearing the words as a child. In older adults, their heart rate we have slowed down. That's what the body does. Bump, 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 bump. So if you're trying to activate the older group from that slower heart rate, pardon me, boys, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, choo-choo, track 29. That's how you start it. Boy, can you give me a shine, from their heart rate, a little faster than their heart rate. And that brings their words back. That gives them a chance to match the rhythm that's pretty much going on, bump, bump, in their body at the time. Now, once you've sung it once or twice or three times with them, then you can do a faster tempo and activate them with it and start to exercise their speaking abilities more. That's one way to use music to activate words in Alzheimer's patients, activate memory of that song. Another wonderful song that is kind of a first-time song people learn, it's the most Wonderful time of the year, with the cats jingling and da-da-da singing da-dum-bum-bum-ba. It's the bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum-bum. The tune is very memorable, and the words come back pretty darn quickly. And in fact, I don't remember the words offhand, but I will never forget that tune from the first time I heard it. You see children skipping down the street to that tune when it snows. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Who doesn't want to feel that way? And what that song does, it adds an extra heartbeat. And I'm starting from heartbeat and rhythm in music because, again, that's the skeleton of music. It's the flour in the cake. So bum 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 bum. It's in three music that's in three, and it's the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. And there's a heart rate in there. It says bump 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 bump. It's relaxed, it's buoyant, it's steady, it's reliable. It almost gives us a little vacation from our own heart rate. And it tells the body this is the heart rate in the atmosphere. And you can say, oh, okay, my body will live with that. And if there's no music, we're like, well, we have to maintain our own heart rate. And that gets tiresome. Music helps. Escorts the heart rate response in the physiology, which is the muscles, the bones, the blood pressure, many other cortisol, immunoglobulin, immune responses and such, even hormonal release, as well as dopamine and the neurotransmitters that make us feel good or activate us. So it has power to trigger those things. But what it does, bump, 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 it gets an extra heartbeat, doesn't it? Bump, bump, bump. Wow. There are a lot of studies that show that music that's in the 3 rhythm, 3/4, 3 time, makes people happier. It gives you an extra heartbeat. Bump, 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 ba da bump, dun da da da. Dun dun da dum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum 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 ba bum bum. Awesome. That's pretty much the formula for changing someone's mood. Making them more activated, less activated. You want to start from, I'm going to start from my heart rate. I'm going to start from the child's heart rate. I'm going to start from the geriatric's heart rate. Now, I'm a church musician. I love being a church musician. I'm a church organist. So going back to Beethoven's Ode to Joy, bum 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 bum. That's how I would send them out the door. If that was the last hymn, bum 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 bum. That's how I'd send them out the door. If it were the first hymn in the church service, that's a different story. You've got people dragging in on Sunday morning, maybe a little tired, rushing to get there perhaps. They need to be relaxed. Or they're only half awake. Bum, 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 dun, da, 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 da. You embrace them with the rhythm. So, if it's the first hymn, you embrace them with the rhythm. If it's the last hymn, you send them out marching. And music has the power to do that too. Now, since we're talking about geriatric populations today, let's talk a little bit about Parkinson's. Music very, very much helps them move, range of movement with their arms, and it also helps them take steps. So I study that with this population. I also work with children to get them moving. I can literally march children up mountains with a couple of songs, and that would also work with Parkinson's patients. It's not the only thing I work with them because they have other challenges. But syncopation, again, you're working with rhythm. So ba ba da bum, ba ba dum bum. It comes, the sound, the beat comes before the sound comes before the beat. And I'm going to give you a simpler example of that, but Chattanooga Choo-Choo has a lot of syncopations in it. And so knowing what songs have syncopations, having a syncopation list to get people moving is something that as a business I'm looking to produce and provide for clinicians and caregivers and teachers. And hey, I need to lose a couple pounds myself and get out the door. I could use a little syncopation sometimes when I'm ready to do that. So there's a song that is also an African song called Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos, Siyahamba kukanyen kwenkos. A lot of syncopation there. And it's in two, bump, bump, step, 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 step. So it has a natural kind of step to it. And we'll talk about this in another session very specifically, because we also have a pattern generator in our spinal cord. That's why we can just walk and think about other things we're doing. We have a generator that will do that for us. But when we're using music, there is an English translation for that song. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are singing in the light of God. So when that sound comes before the beat, our body wants to rush to it. So it propels us ahead. It propels it for Parkinson's patients. It propels it for children. You use different tempi depending on where the heart rate and the physiology is sitting. That's the secret. It's one of the secrets. That's the beginning secret. So, and then it goes into, and then it reinforces the march. So if I'm marching, we are ma, ta, 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 ta. I rush to get those. Ta, 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 ta. So it's like half on the beat and half pushing the beat, pushing the step. So that's basically how that works. And there are a lot of songs that will provide that. And so all you need is two or three of those songs in your pocket. Take a couple deep breaths and start singing them, and those kids will march up that mountain. And I'm talking about children in the age range of maybe even 4 to say 12, pre-puberty. Although older children definitely enjoy those songs too. It has grades of effect. Now, as I studied the aging brain, and I am an expert on aging brain and decline, neural formation of plaques, and everything that's involved in that. The Alzheimer's brain kind of regresses to like a childlike state. In fact, as the brain grows, there's certain areas that grow, and it grows in an order. And so there's a lot of motor and health and heart rate, and they need lots of sleep and with children. And then the last thing is the executive to develop in children. And then there's sort of like a reverse loss when you get, so taking care of a late stage Alzheimer's person is kind of like taking care of a 140-pound infant in many ways. So, and infants are very responsive to music too. There's a tremendous amount of literature in the nursing literature about working with preterm infants and working with children before the age of 2, using music to settle the heart rate, settle the respiratory rate, relax the physiology, and many other benefits, improve the immune system and such. Very significant results. So there's a comparison there. They're comparable, and it's just a beautiful thing to be able to sing a lullaby to an elderly person and sing the same lullaby to a child, and they both go to sleep. And so what I do as a scientist now is design interventions for medical doctors and for scientists and for clinicians and caregivers. And so the use of music to how the different elements to treat different conditions is the series that I look to introduce to you today. The population of greatest need, it seems, is the Alzheimer's dementia population. Nothing seems to work. Very little seems to work. What does seem to work is music. How does that work? Let's talk about that. The kind of the standard procedure to work with Alzheimer's and dementia is to ask them what they liked to listen to as a young person, or what they used to like to listen to. And again, we use the example Chattanooga Choo Choo. Not too many would say Chattanooga Choo Choo because it's not one of the first things that comes to mind. They would say, I mean, if someone asked me that, I would say the Beatles, Let It Be. That's one song I really remember listening to from my childhood. That is a really depressing song. And so listening to that song would play into my physiology, and it would leave me crying probably. As I remember, that's when it had that's one of the memories, listening to that song and feeling sad when I heard that song. I don't need that. Or listening to a Three Dog Night. You know, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. What's that going to do for me today? Okay. It's going to say, oh yeah, I remember that song. Woohoo! Yeah, that was fun. But where's it going to take me? This is what I'm trying to evaluate. It's important to understand if the patient has music preferences, definitely go with them. If they like guitar music, there's a reason they like guitar music. And so that's what you build a prescription program onto. I often compare it to nutrition. I don't know anything about nutrition. Well, actually, I know a little bit. But I love Doritos, I love chips and dips, and I love fried chicken. Those are kind of the examples I use. But that's really not going to help me lose those 10 pounds I want to lose. I need to lose. In fact, if I ate that stuff, I'd probably be asleep in about an hour. So that's not a good use of, nutrition, right? So the same with music. And so to look at a patient, look at their age, their gender. You want to talk to men with music differently from when you want to talk to women. You want to look at their psychological profile. Are they an introvert or an extrovert? You're going to need more music to stimulate an introvert. To get an introvert to dance, you're going to need to have maybe the same music, but play it twice as long. To calm an extrovert, you're going to need longer dose to calm them with a relaxing, lower tempo, cascading. Debussy's Clair de Lune, for instance, is a wonderful example of big relaxation. You want to look at their comorbidities. If they have a hard time moving their arm, you're not going to give them long melodies to move their arm, as you would with Parkinson's. Bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Much different from the marching music that would not get them to move their arm. And you want to look at drug interactions, possible interactions there, and you want to look at their cultural background. I'm Irish. If Irish music comes on, I'm going to want to listen to that. And you want to look at their music preference. I like classical music. I like a good singer. Don't just give me any singer. I like a good singer. And so I'm open to listening to opera music, but it's got to be good. Things like that. And so progressive playlists, so that in 4 to 6 months after you get a new playlist every 2 weeks, most of the music is music you've never heard before. And if you like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you'll love Beauty and the theme song from Beauty and the Beast. Tale as old as time, true as it can be, barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. Alzheimer's patients love that song. That's a brand new song. They love it. So it's all good. And the ability of prescription music to make a real difference in mood, cognition, focus, the ability to make choices. When I hear innovating music, it's much easier for me to say, I think I will go out and take a long walk around the block, as well as behavior, to calm them, to get them talking more, to get them more reflective, the ways that music can be used as precision prescriptive medicine. So I would like to end with a little song that I like to sing. It's called A Fairy Went A-Marketing. It tells a little story about a fairy, and a lot of people like it. Ready? A fairy went a-marketing, she bought a little fish. She put it in a crystal bowl upon a golden dish. All day she sat in wonderment and watched its silver gleam. And then she gently took it up and slipped it in a stream. A fairy went a-marketing, she bought a colored bird. It sang the sweetest, shrillest sound that ever she had heard. She sat beside its gilded cage and listened half the day. And then she opened wide the door and let it fly away. A fairy went a-marketing, she bought a winter gown, all stitched and laced with gossamer and lined with thistle down. She wore it all the afternoon with prancing and delight, then gave it to a little frog to keep him warm at night. A fairy went a-marketing, she bought a gentle mouse to take her tiny messages, to keep her tiny house. All day she kept its busy feet pit-patting to and fro, and then she kissed its silken ears, thanked it, and let it go. Just a simple little song. We'll sing more in the next series to come. Have a great day.